Hello and happy new year. It is great to be back. We are back with TOC. We are back ripping packs. We are back. Oh, it just feels so good. TJ, how are you doing today?
Doing well. Best time of year. NFL playoffs are upon us. I think one of the most fun times of the year to play fantasy football. It's like I get really excited about fantasy football during August and September when like the season is about to start. You've got season-long drafts and season-long best balls going. You got the first 2-3 weeks of DFS. Then you kind of get a little stale during the season, becomes a bit repetitive. But now that we have the playoffs coming, we've got all kinds of different contests to be playing in, and really, really pumped to have TOC back in action. Been awesome seeing people rip packs, and excited to rip some packs of our own on this show today and give it away to some lucky people in chat.
I'm pumped for that. And playoff best ball is my absolute favorite time of year. Any kind of the fantasy football playoff contest, there's a level of strategy. The players are all good. Like the teams are good. It makes it that much more fun. It gives that, rooting interest for every single game throughout the playoffs. I've done not one, not two, not 300, not 400, but over 400 underdog fantasy drafts already for the playoff best ball.
Nuh-uh.
I am not kidding.
Wait. Oh my God. You thought
there was the way too early.
I'm even shocked by that. That's insane.
Oh, we'll get into those numbers. Don't worry. It was the way too early to wild card. Then there was the wild card. Then there's the mitten. Then the mitten 2. Now the gauntlet. Mitten 3 is going to be coming up soon. I'm not kidding. This is my favorite time of year. Edge to be grinded, but also, it's exciting. It's fun. And we'll start off at the top. Underdog Fantasy. They are absolutely awesome, partnering with us on this entire playoff best ball venture. So for people who are new to Underdog Fantasy, if you're not familiar, go sign up with promo code OTM. That is how you will get 2 free TOC playoff best ball packs. But if you're already an Underdog Fantasy member, we are not leaving you out. All you got to do is enter one of these playoff best ball contests that I was talking about. There's a mitten 2 out there right now for only $5. That's close to filling. If that fills, don't worry. There'll be a mitten 3 coming up around the corner as well. But get your entry in there, and we'll get you those packs. There are ways to earn packs, and we may even have some more ways coming down the road too. I'm got so much going on right now. I think we need to start off with let's rewind a little and TOC playoff best ball. TJ, we brought you on the show to kind of talk through today because I'm going to be doing this the next couple days. I'm going to do this next week. I'm going to do a fantasy football and underdog fantasy draft. Then I'm going to open some packs where you can get them away. But we need to start off and figure out, why are we here? What is this? Talk us through. I don't know if you want to share your screen. Give the people the magic.
Let's do it. I'm going to go ahead, share my screen here. Shout out to producer Coop for these new sick backgrounds that we got. I mean, come on. This is looking fresh. We're looking professional here. Had to bring it back for TOC. But yeah, let's start with a little introduction into what this game is, how to play, how to earn your free packs, all of that good stuff. Then we'll open some packs right here on the show. Justin will talk through some of the strategy about how you should be thinking about your packs as you open them. And yeah, like Justin said, he's going to be doing this every day. We can probably do some, I already see people talking about the lineups that they have. I'm sure we can do some stuff on Twitter where people send in their lineups and we can talk through what would Justin do if he opened this pack, that kind of thing. Because there's lots of different ways to go. But let's start at the top. We've already said promo code OTM. And then there's also a Google form to fill out. So basically sign up for Underdog. If you're a new user, use promo code OTM, make a deposit, and then that makes you eligible to claim your 2 free packs. If you're already a user, you simply just enter any of those playoff contests and we'll get you 2 free packs in that way. So make sure you're filling out this form so that you're on our list. Now we have the game itself. So TOC Best Ball, the new way to play fantasy football this playoff season. How it works: you're going to get these packs. In these packs, you've got 20 cards in it. Okay. And one of the unique things about TOC is that each of these cards is representing a city and a position in football. And then how the game works is that you score fantasy points for the entire position group, not just one individual player. So take the Cincinnati wide receiver card, for example. You have the Cincinnati wide receiver card. You play that in your lineup. Now you're getting points for Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd, any of the wide receivers in that position group. Of the 20 that you have in your pack, you're going to select 12 of them to create your card in this way. That lineup will then get entered into the contest, and that's all you have to do from there. There's no weekly management. There's no setting your lineup. Simply pick your 12 cards, and then what we do is every single week of the playoffs, we will enter your optimal lineup based on your top 6 cards. So we'll take 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 1 wide receiver, 1 tight end, 1 defense, and then 1 super flex that can be any of those positions. Those 6 scores, that then accumulates over each week of the NFL playoffs. Whoever scores the most points throughout the entire playoffs by the end of the Super Bowl is the winner. And the grand prize is going to be a VIP sports trip with yours truly. Justin and I will meet up with you. I mean, what more could you ask for, Justin? Like, getting to hang out with us. I mean, that's better than winning $1 million, I would say.
No, I'm pumped for it because, well, hey, we're going to work with you to figure out, like, what is the sporting event that you're most interested in? What is the location? Whether there's something like a Ryder Cup, whether there's something like a big, football, baseball, NHL, NFL, whatever we decide, like, hey, we'll talk to you, figure out the best one, get the OTM crew, probably throw like a little local gathering in that city as well, like make a blast out of it. Underdog is throwing in a lot of goodies as well. So there's some Underdog merch and swag coming in too. And then we got more prizes as well. We got some Jolly Jokers. We got some more sporting event tickets and such. We may even, have some fun and throw in some more fun stuff in the prize pool as we go. I'm thinking we may even need a booby prize, TJ. We haven't discussed this yet, but the worst lineup, that's got to win something too.
Oh, I agree. I think, yeah. I mean, if you're going to go through all this effort and come in stone dead last, you deserve to get rewarded. So yeah, check out this article on the Own the Moment website as well. Walks through everything. We've also got the scoring system in there. There are some unique things with the TOC scoring system. I would say the 2 things that stand out.
Let's pause real quick.
Okay.
Rewind real quick.
Yep.
Why is the scoring different first? I think that's kind of helpful because as people are building their lineups, because these are position groups and it's not individual players. If we used your traditional scoring, same as Rumble, where it's PPR and such, or even half PPR, wide receivers would just be so important because most teams have 3, 4, 5 plus scoring each week, while you only have 1 QB, maybe 2 running backs, 1, maybe 2 tight ends, etc. So when we built the Owners Club, we were really trying to figure out a way that, hey, we want to make sure that at least among the QB, the running back, the wide receivers, the expected and actual points they get are fairly similar. And that's what this scoring system does. Tight ends, defense, they will score less points. That's just the way it is. Think of that when you're considering what you want to use for that flex spot and how you're balancing out. But TJ, give us the actual specifics of these points.
Yep. Yeah. So I think that the 2 big differentiating points are that quarterback passing touchdowns are worth 6 points versus the norm is typically 4 points. The reason for this, again, is really that goal of quarterbacks, running backs, and wide receiver cards averaging close to the same. And so because at the running back and wide receiver positions, you get multiple players, and the quarterback, you only get 1, giving that little extra boost to passing touchdowns puts quarterbacks more on par with that. And then the other thing is that there's no PPR at all. So no points for any receptions. Again, the reason for that being that if it was PPR, the wide receiver card would just absolutely crush all of the other cards. So those are the main 2 differences. I think everything else is pretty standard. Is defense different? Okay,
defense gives a little more opportunity for if your defense does really well, you can get strong points. Because here, you get a blowout, that's 15 plus points. You keep to less than a touchdown, that's 10 points.
Got it.
So there is a little extra aspects there.
Yep. Good call. Yeah. So little extra boost on the defense. I would say with it, I mean, probably doesn't impact the strategy that much because defense is a bit of a crapshoot to begin with. But yeah, so instead of like typically defenses start with 10 points, you're starting with 15 here, give you that little extra.
Okay. Here's where I think it matters. If you choose a team that is going to make it to the Super Bowl, that defense actually may be more valuable as a flex than the Giants running backs. That Barkley's awesome, and they may score a lot of points, but they may only play 1 or 2 games. So in this scenario, if you pick the Chiefs, they make it to the Super Bowl. That means they've won all their games. So there's a chance that they actually shut out some teams or something. Maybe now there's an incentive. And like, especially if you go with someone like the Bills, where they're likely going to get the 2 seed now, they're going to play more games. Maybe now defense is a bit more attractive. We at least want to add that strategy element and make you want to, consider these various options.
Love it. Love it. Hey, there's no better way to get Justin a little fired up than by telling him that there's anything in the world that doesn't have a strategy to it, because he'll be like, no. There's a strategy here. I swear. It's like, but we're just in line for Chipotle, Justin. Like, we're literally, all we're doing is ordering Chipotle. And he's like, no. There's an optimal way to order Chipotle. And this is a true story, by the way. Like, if you ever, like, there's GTO ways to order. And I employ it every time now. 100%.
You have to get the tortilla on the side, because then you get the bowl. The bowl is the full. You get more of it. Then you make your own burrito on the side afterwards. And then you get a little leftover. Oh, come on. GTO.
We'll have to have a separate show, but if there's enough interest out there, we can have a optimal Chipotle ordering show. I'm sure the demand there is absolutely in there. All right, how do we earn packs? So, couple ways here. First one, for Jolly Joker holders. So for every Jolly Joker that you held as of our snapshot, which was like 2 days ago, you are able to claim 1 free pack. So simply head on over to toc.otmnft.com. You'll see your profile here will be updated for exactly how many packs you are eligible to claim. For every Jolly Joker that you hold, you're eligible to claim 1 free pack. And then for anyone that played in the Owners Club last year, you're eligible to claim 1 free pack for that. As we mentioned, with Underdog Fantasy, either if you're a new customer, sign up with promo code OTM, use that to claim 2 packs, make your first deposit as well. If you are an existing user, enter any of those playoff contests that Justin mentioned, the Gauntlet, the Mitten, use that. You'll get your 2 free packs in that way. And also OTM Premium members. So if you are a member of OTM Premium that does not have a Jolly Joker, you'll also get a free pack for that. And then we're going to have some other fun things that you can do to get these packs over time. But there we have it. Go claim those packs, everyone.
So pretty much every TOC player from last year is kind of eligible for 2 packs, right? Because they're going to get 1 from last year, and then they got the 6-month premium, so that makes them a subscriber, or they got a Joker and they get 1 that way. So nice little benefit there, throwback to the TOC from last year, getting those 2 packs. I see people asking about strategy. I see people asking about how do we win this.
I think it's time. I think we've covered all right, I guess last detail, the contest locks on January 14th at the start of the first game. So the first game will be next Saturday, 4:30 Eastern time. That's when the contest locks. So make sure that you are setting your lineups prior to then. And should we talk about the teams at all? So obviously the playoff teams are not fully set now, but the teams that are going to be in our packs, they're locked in, and that is not going to change. So claiming your packs now versus claiming your packs next week does not matter. You might as well claim them right now. You can edit your packs and lineups as many times as you want up until contest lock. So that's something that we've seen, like, oh, should I wait to claim? Should I wait to create my lineup? Should I wait to open the pack? The answer is it doesn't matter. As long as by next Saturday you have the lineup that you want selected, the contest will lock. And then we'll be going from there.
Yeah. And then if you're going to get the extra packs through Underdog, just make sure that you do the deposit, that you sign up, that you enter that contest prior to the day of the games. Don't make it last minute. We're going to have to do a final poll that morning. So, try to do it at least a day early.
All right. So there's the logistics. That's how the game works. What's the strategy here, Justin? Do we want to start with high level strategy? Do we want to start by just opening a pack and using that as an example? What do you think the best way is to go about this?
I'm going to start with so we can go from high level strategy and 2 websites that I think should be in your kind of favorites or at least keep an eye on. So I'll share my screen. TJ, if you want to get the brand.
Yep.
Let's see. So first one is going to be 538. So let's make sure that you can see this. Okay, cool. So this website,
when sponsorship from 538 with how often we're screen sharing these guys. When sponsorship, anyways, keep going.
It's fair. Hey, they do good stuff. This is free.
They really do.
It's a good tool.
Great tool.
And honestly, like they're on the back end, their actual data and metrics like aren't the best, but directionally accurate. It is perfect. Their UI is fantastic. Like the ability to click through is awesome. But what this does is this will be helpful for I guess really it's just kind of thinking ahead, especially for playoff best ball. For Underdog, you really want to be using this. This tells us the odds of, hey, what is the likelihood of them actually making the playoffs? Because I think we have about 11 teams that are locked in and a few others down here that still have an outside shot. And then with that bye as well. So this is probably more specific to the Underdog side of things because you all can still wait until next week until things lock. But if you're doing Underdog Fantasy, use this to get an idea of, hey, where's that bye going to land? Which teams and what's their likelihood of actually making the playoffs? Okay, we've got that. Let's do one other one. And this is probably going to be the more fun one. I guess I think it's still very relevant when we're thinking about teams and such. But this is the ESPN playoff machine. This shows what the current playoff picture looks like, as well as if you click when teams start winning, losing, where that movement comes. Now, why this matters is because, and I'll talk larger strategy, when you're choosing the 12 cards on your lineup, it probably doesn't make sense to do like a heavy Tampa Bay and Dallas lineup because those 2 teams are definitely going to be playing each other in the first round. Dallas has locked in this 5th seed. Tampa has locked in winning the division and the worst of the division winner seeds. So they're going to play each other. It doesn't make sense to kind of think through, okay, I'm going to put heavy on 2 teams because at the end of the day, only one of those advances. The way we want to be building out from a strategy is think backwards from the Super Bowl. Consider if this is the Super Bowl matchup I expect to happen or I think is going to happen or this card is leaning me to project is going to happen, then how can I optimize my points throughout the playoffs that my teams get the most games? So in an example where like, hey, we see Philly. So Philly, if they win, they get the 1 seed. If they lose and San Francisco wins, San Francisco moves in. You can see that by kind of playing with these scenarios here. I guess I could click on the Giants. There you go. But like, do you want to choose a 1 seed with your cards is an interesting question because you are guaranteed to get no wild card game from them. So the max possible playoffs games they can get would just be 3, divisional, conference, and Super Bowl, while a team like, assuming this is the final order, Buffalo or Cincy, their odds to actually make it to the Super Bowl are really strong and not that much different than Kansas City, but they also get that wild card game to accumulate points. And because our structure, the scoring for this is cumulative, the amount of points you get in the wild card game are just as valuable as the points you get in the Super Bowl. So these are kind of some of the risk reward scenarios or options we need to think about building the teams. But I think the most important, most simple version of what we should be thinking about with our teams is focusing on a core group of teams. Don't just try to go for, the Vikings have a great wide receiver core, so I'm going to throw them in, but I'm not going to go with the Vikings tight ends or running backs for whatever reason because you think you have stronger elsewhere. Like, no, you want to make bets on certain teams. Make a bet that, hey, this team, even though the Vikings aren't, one of the favorites to make it, if they do make it to the Super Bowl, you've got 3, 4 of theirs. You want to pick them all. And then similarly on the other side, maybe on the AFC, what team do you want to make your best bets on? And obviously you're limited to what comes in your pack, but that's where the strategy aspects come in, or maybe even the reroll. I see a question. This is ESPN. If you just Google ESPN playoff machine, this will pop up. Yeah. Okay, that was a lot.
No, that was great. That was great. Let me that was perfect. I'm gonna run through some chat stuff here quickly. Mark says, love TOC being back. So do we. So do we. Let's see what else we got. I saw Sergeant Stogie saying, this was a funny one. There's a lot of chat going on. Sergeant Stogie saying, can we replace me and you with Coop and Neil? And Coop said, that wouldn't be good strategy. And he's like, no, I'm talking about for the trip. And I'm like, that makes sense. Yes. That would definitely be, that's good strategy. That would be an upgrade there.
If you want to be in bed by midnight, take me. If you want to see what happens at the whiskey bar and the late night, then Coop is your guy.
I did see some other questions here. Okay, so Brandon asked, can you explain the reroll option? Great question. I did forget to touch on this. So after you claim your packs, you do have the option to do a reroll, which is essentially throwing away the pack that you opened and replacing it with a different pack. So every user account, you get one free reroll on the house, just for one per user, not per pack. And then after that, each reroll costs $5. So you can spend $5 either with your credit card or with your OTM balance. If you were a TOC player last year, you get to throw that out and get a new pack. I think that was the majority of what we had here.
And the reroll is the same odds as the same other packs. It's still the same player pool. It just gives you another shot at it.
Yep. And then LLC asking, how soon does Underdog packs get verified? We're working with them, so it's a bit of it's a more manual process with them than the other verifications, unfortunately. So hopefully soon is the answer.
I'm in talks right now. Right now they have to code up the poll to make sure it's a specific poll for the first one. After that, it'll be easier. My guess is we'll have your packs in your accounts by tomorrow, Friday at the latest. And then after that, it'll take probably 24 to 48 hours from when people submit the form.
Cool. So more packs coming your way. I kind of like that it's staggered. You know, everyone's getting their Joker and TOC and OTM premium based packs yesterday and today. Then later this week, we'll be getting the Underdog packs out there. And then the beautiful thing is we still have all next week. Cool. All right. I think that covered. Is there going to be a pack buying contest? There is not. So this is a fully free to play game.
Not this year.
So not this year. Not this year. All right. Should we open our first pack, Justin?
Let's do it. All right. I'll share my screen.
I'll do the screen switch for you.
Okay. I got a lot of packs. Santa Neil was like, Justin, I'm throwing some packs in your account. These are for giveaways. These aren't for you. But yeah, we got packs. Okay. First off, we're going to open this. We're going to have some fun. We're going to create what we think is the best lineup. But we're going to gift it to someone in chat too. And hey, if you decide that you disagree with us, you go ahead, you make your changes, and you better hope you beat what we had initially, because otherwise we're going to shame you. Okay, now, how can people enter the giveaway? What do they need to do?
You need to go in the chat right now. Type TOC exclamation point. TOC exclamation point in the chat. That'll get your name onto the giveaway wheel, and you'll have the chance to win this beautiful pack that we are about to open.
There we go. I see the entries coming in. It is working. Fire. Okay, cool. We will do that at the end of the show. Maybe we'll have a second one too. Who knows? We'll see. We'll play it by ear. Okay, for now though, let's open this pack. Pick one. What do you got? 1 to 5 to 6 to 10. Give me a number.
Let's go with number 3, right in the middle. I got a good feeling. Yeah, I got a good feeling about that one. Here we go. So good. Props to Pedro. Pedro is our awesome designer that created this, and I mean, it's just absolutely fire.
Okay.
All right, so here's how this works, everyone. So you open up the pack, and then you're going to have 20 cards in here. So you can flip them over one by one, see what you got.
I'm gonna mute it just so you can talk through. Go for it.
Agreed. Yeah.
And
So what
order
Justin's
wise, you
doing?
start off with every pack will have 2 QBs, 2 running backs, 2 wide receivers, 2 tight ends, and 2 defense. And it'll go in that order to begin with. Now, the rest is completely random, can be any assortment of the positions. We got a nice Green Bay stack building right here. We got some of the peripherals of the Bengals. Ooh, now we got some Dallas going. Oh, I mean, this is where, like, you got to go with the Green Bay. All right, we got some Philly QB, Baltimore. Ooh. Okay. We ready to build this lineup?
Let's build. Let's build. All right. So Justin, when you open up a lineup, what is your first thought? What's the first thing that you're thinking about? Are you thinking about, oh, I have a good card or a bad card? Are you thinking about, oh, I have a lot of one team, so that's where I should be focusing? What's like generally how should people be first evaluating the pack that they've opened?
Yeah, I'm definitely not thinking like good or bad card at this point because for me, I mean, just because you may have bad teams, actually mean it's a really good card because, hey, you're going heavy on a team that others aren't going to be going many of, especially one-offs. So in this example here, I see 4 of the Packers. I'm pretty much immediately just locking these in and saying, all right, this is based off the Packers having, doing well. And even if they don't make it to the Super Bowl, get to the conference championship and lose to trying to think what would be the scenario here with the Packers, because the Packers, all right, I'm on my other tab right now. I'm on the ESPN because I'm trying to think like what would the Packers scenario for the playoffs. They'd most likely be the 7 seed. They play the 2, and then in the conference championship they play the 1. So what I'm trying to get at is we could have 2 1 seeds make the Super Bowl. And in the Packers, even though they lose in the conference championship, they'd still have 3 games, which is the most that any other team can have. So you could have the optimal structure by having the Packers, even without them making the Super Bowl. That's the benefit of that wild card aspect. And because it's someone like the Packers, not many people are going to go choose a one-off Packer because they're going to be, probably a decent underdog in week 1. Okay. So we've got our Packers.
I think just to add on to that, I think one pretty material difference between the TOC game and the Underdog game is that in the Underdog game, the final like week and winning the money literally comes down to the Super Bowl. With TOC, it's just cumulative over the whole time. So like while it's obviously best to have the teams that make the Super Bowl, like Justin was saying, it's not 100% necessary. Whereas in the Underdog contest, like if you get to the end and you don't have teams playing or players playing in the Super Bowl, then you literally can't win. So I think that is one difference there. You still obviously want to optimize for the Super Bowl, but it's slightly less important, or at least just gives you more ways to get there, especially with the bye teams versus the wild card teams, like Justin was saying.
Yeah. And I see, Jonathan and Creek asking, well, what if Green Bay doesn't make the playoffs? That's right. And we don't have to lock this in until next week. And it locks in right when the game starts. So you just kind of save it. And if the Green Bay didn't make the playoffs, I would do one of 2 things. One, and I'd be like, okay, let's ignore the Green Bay. Let's see, do I have a team that I like among the others? Option 2 is I use the reroll. Because
I was about to say, I think this, my crystal ball tells me that in about 5 to 10 minutes, we're going to be re-rolling this pack. But hey, you never know.
I don't know. Okay. So, there's the little, but
no, is that the last thing?
Yeah, because I went to a tab. That's fine. We're going to fix that. All right. So we got the Green Bay here. Now, in my other tab, I was looking to see, like, okay, what is the playoff scenario? Because we've got Dallas as the 5 seeds. Dallas, if they win and Green Bay wins, Green Bay would then go play the 1 seed. Dallas would then play the other. So they wouldn't play each other until the conference championship. And because Dallas running back and receiver are both really strong, I'm okay with that. Well, versus like Philly, I don't want to include, because if Green Bay wins their first game, they then go play Philly. And now you're either getting only 1 game out of Philly because they lose, so you wouldn't want to include them, or your Packer stack is going to lose. So that's why we're not going to choose Philly. But we should probably start looking now at some of the AFC, some one-offs. What are you thinking?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I think just kind of mixing and matching AFC from here. I definitely have Cincy tight end and Cincy defense kind of staring me in the face just because that's the only two AFC teams that we have. My brain still sees Kansas City wide receiver and thinks of Tyreek Hill, and then I'm like, Kansas City wide receiver is actually not nearly as good as it was last year, which is interesting. I mean, you have Baltimore tight end too with Mark Andrews.
It's really rough on the other side.
Yeah, we don't have a lot of options on the AFC. I mean, we have Buffalo QB. That's probably the next thing that we just click in, right?
Agreed.
I think you just click in Buffalo QB. Obviously, it'd be nice if we had Buffalo wide receiver to go along with it. We don't, but I think you still click that in. You take the points there.
And here's the other rough thing about this card. This was a really rough card. And here's we have 5 defenses and 4 tight ends.
Oh shit, I didn't even realize that. Yeah, that's brutal.
Yeah. So like you mentioned, like you want to lock in because you got 2 of these, but the thing is it's tight end and defense. And like that's just not as high scoring. Should we do it?
I think we should. But actually I do. So good another strategy question would be like, in terms of positional breakdown, right? Do you think it's necessary to have at least 2 of each position, or are you just sticking with 1 tight end and 1 defense? Obviously, it depends, but in general, like, are you comfortable just picking one? Because you do need to pick at least 1 of each position. That's a requirement. You can't not choose a defense or not choose a tight end. But with tight ends and defenses, are you mostly just saying optimally you just pick 1 and then you load up the other positions? I think that's probably a good high level topic.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on like, are those tight end defense part of my stack? And if they are, I'm probably just doing 1. But if they're not, then I probably want to get a secondary one. Because yeah, and I see Mark saying over here, like, hey, only the 10 lines get paid. You'll need strong Super Bowl representation to cash. That's not necessarily true, because if the 2 1 seeds make it to the Super Bowl, they only have 3 games max, and you can get 3 games out of teams that don't make it to the Super Bowl, but make it to the conference championship. So there is definitely some flexibility aspects with like how valuable that Super Bowl is or isn't. I think most likely I'm probably going to want to grab 2 tight ends, 2 defenses at most, but also like not less than that. It's like, yeah, I mean, it's just hard to take that 0. But like, here's the thing. If you're choosing the Packers here and you want to choose the tight end defense, sure, you can go try to grab another tight end or defense. But like, what's the chance of that team making it to the Super Bowl? Maybe just the Bengals. Maybe that's the argument there, is you grab those. But like, you're already betting on the Packers to at least make it to 3 games. And now you need to make a bet that the tight end defense you choose also makes it to those, to that, past there, or outscores yours. But like, yeah,
makes sense. Let's
take a reroll. So
yeah, Coop wants you to send him the link of this pack before, or maybe yeah, I don't know. Coop's asking if you could send him the URL of this pack for some kind of reason. I'm not sure why. I guess maybe for the giveaway purposes or something.
Maybe. But, I know the pack ID. I'm gonna put.
And then let's re-roll. I mean, this is definitely who I saw someone in chat say, not gonna lie, I would have re-rolled this pretty fast.
Yeah, I saw a call. There we go. There's one. There you go. Not gonna lie, definitely would have re-rolled this.
All right. So we've also, I've seen some questions in here about Jonathan asks, has anyone gotten Seattle or Lions cards? We saw Creek ask, what happens if Green Bay's out? Does it automatically switch to Lions or Seahawks? So the Lions and the Seahawks are not in these packs. Essentially, what we did was only include the teams that had, I think, like a 40% chance or better, according to, it was 50% at the time, and then Miami went down since then. So Miami is the least likely team that is existing in these packs. The other ones we just excluded because we didn't want somebody to open up a pack and you get all Lions and Seahawks, and then you end up with a pack that has half the cards not even be in the playoffs. So we kind of took a conservative approach to err on the side of the customer experience, but nothing is changing, right? So regardless, so even if after this weekend, the Seahawks do get into the playoffs, they still will not be in the pack. So we're not going to add them back in. Similarly, if Green Bay ends up not in the playoffs, we're not removing them from the packs. And that way it keeps it fair so that no matter when you claim your pack, you have the same exact odds as everyone else of getting certain teams and getting not other teams.
Yeah. And initially it was literally 50% or lower. And what happened is the Dolphins, because Bridgewater now has the dislocated finger, Tua is still in the concussion protocol. They're getting a negative 114, which drops them down substantially for the 42%. The challenge with all the others was, hey, to beat Jacksonville, they're in. New England only needs to beat Buffalo, and they're in. But because their odds are so similar, if you then allow one in, you pretty much had to allow all of these. And now we're adding an extra 5 teams that are, at best a third of a chance to make the playoffs. And that would just lead to a poor experience for people opening packs and such. So we figured, hey, you know what? It's better to maybe 30% chance we miss a team that makes the playoffs than guarantee that there is a whole bunch of more cards of teams that aren't going to make the playoffs. So. Okay, let's go back to the reroll. Are we ready to reroll?
Yeah, let's reroll it. And so Tesh is asking, is there a reason we didn't wait? Yeah, because we wanted to get this out early so that we have a nice week and a half for people to get their hands on packs. Otherwise, it would have just been a tight turnaround. And so, yeah, we decided that it was a better experience to get more people involved, give us more time to get people understanding of how to play the game, versus trying to quickly turn things around in like 3 days.
Or put us to get it out early too. It makes sense because we've been, as I said, I'm 400 drafts in. Underdog drafting is going, so we wanted to help out that kind of promo to help out with a lot of the prizes and such.
For sure.
Because there are, more than $5,000 worth of prizes in this. And that's, heavily thanks to Underdog Fantasy.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, let's do this reroll. I'm going to use one of my... Yeah, thank you, Neil, for all the rerolls on the stream. Okay, we're going to go back to the same one. Let's go. Lucky's saying, didn't see the reroll. Maybe we need to add a little color to that or an explanation. So
let people know. Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Oh, I like what I'm seeing. Okay, we got a little stack there, although there's no Baltimore wide receiver.
Stack there.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay. Schultz.
When AFC. All right.
Okay. Buffalo. Dallas wide receivers. I can ignore that. Kelsey as a standalone. Buffalo D, San Francisco, Philly Y. Okay, we got some stacks here. We can have some fun on this.
This is a nice pack. This is a nice looking pack, I think.
We got 3 Eagles here. Walk me through what we're doing, Teach.
The first thing that we're doing is clicking Eagles quarterback, Eagles wide receiver, and Eagles tight end because go Birds. But yes, that's half joking, half biased, but I do think that is the correct thing to do here for sure. As long as that Philadelphia quarterback is Jalen Hurts and not Gardner Minshew. If it's Gardner Minshew, then that ain't as good. Oh, you can get them both. There you go. You get the beauty of TOC. But yeah, let's lock in. If it's Gardner to start things off.
If it's Gardner, they may lose this week, and then they get the 2 seed. And while it may not be good for Birds fans, then it's Jalen.
Then it's Jalen come playoffs. There you go. Now that's the mega brain there. Yeah, I mean, I love. So what are your thoughts on? Because the next thing that independent of the Eagles catches my eye is certainly Dallas and having Dallas running back, wide receiver, and tight end. Do you think it's bad to have 3 Eagles and 3 Cowboys, or is that's
interesting? Cowboys are going to have the 5 seed, so they go to Tampa. If they win that, they're the 5 seed, as the 5 seed. They would then play the Eagles, unless you have the 6 or 7 seed pulls an upset. Giants are most likely going to go to the Vikings. I think Giants have a chance at that upset. So that's what you're kind of playing for there is either Green Bay beat San Francisco, possible but unlikely, or whoever ends up getting that spot, whatever, or Giants beat Minnesota. So I'm hesitant to do it because the most likely scenario is the Cowboys would play the Eagles in the second. Um, but it's possible you could still get strong amount of points out of Dallas with those, and maybe you're just playing for that kind of nut outcome.
Yeah. All right, so maybe the immediate thing that this pack does is Cincinnati quarterback and Cincinnati defense. Is that pretty intuitive? I mean, since like I think that makes sense. It gets us a defense because we didn't have a defense yet.
Yep.
I think that makes sense. I mean, the other thing, Kansas City tight end certainly catches the eye for sure.
Yeah, so we have this Cincy here. I may even consider like Buffalo running back, Buffalo defense, just because we're like, hey, these could both be the Super Bowl matchup, and you're getting a strong, substantial points. We're not going to take any more defenses, and you got two defenses that are likely going to be playing in the first round and have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl.
Yep.
So I think I'm feeling pretty good about this right now. I agree with you on Kansas City tight end just because it's such an outlier card that he could score enough points in one or two games to surpass the majority of other tight ends. Now I'm going to start looking at positions. So down here, we've got two QBs, which is Hertz and Burrow. We've only have one running back, one wide receiver, and we're done at tight end defense for the most part. So this is where I think we want to just start stacking up some points. Baltimore's interesting, but like Baltimore wide receivers, nothing. There's literally it's DeMarcus.
I think we got to go Dallas, even though it may not make the most sense from a matchup standpoint. Dallas running back to me is and wide receiver are both just strong cards.
Agreed.
And like even if you only get one, even if you only get two games out of them, I mean they're good cards. They get you enough points. But then because we already have Philly tight end and Kansas City tight end, we probably don't want to include the Dallas tight end. We could, but don't need to, I guess, is what I would
honestly
say.
Yeah.
Or do you just do it? I mean, maybe you just do it. It's not that much worse than, I don't know. You may do that. Interesting.
Because let's consider. So think of Kansas City tight end right now as only a flex. And then compare this to some of our other flex spots. And that maybe helps us make the decision. Like, do you throw in just two of these here for some points?
Yeah.
You're not going to get that many with like Purdy. This would have Debo and Ayuk, which are doing very well.
San Francisco wide receiver feels pretty strong. Just to get in some points there.
I'd probably then go with either San Francisco.
Then you just go with quarterback. Yeah. Yeah, I could see either of those two things I could see being viable.
I don't mind.
Man, these lineups create a fun puzzle to put together. It's like very I feel like I haven't actually spent a lot of time trying to build the lineups. I spent a lot of time clicking through lineups during testing, but man, it gets pretty intricate, and I would say that there's a lot more levels to it than I originally thought at first glance, if that makes sense, because just a lot of things to consider and makes it pretty fun.
All right, we'll give this pack away to chat.
Remember, TOC exclamation point, hammer that in the chat for the giveaway. You're going to get a pretty nice pack.
All right. So
someone will get this pack, and then you can do what you want with it in terms of sticking with the lineup we just created or adding your own flavor to it. Also, just quickly, so after you open up your packs, as you can see on Justin's screen right here, here's where you can see the packs that you've opened. You can see all 20 cards that are in it, as well as the 12 that you've selected. And then if you go to the exposures tab for people that have multiple packs, what you can see here is your exposure across your packs that you've opened to each of these specific cards. So you can see that Justin's opened 2 Baltimore running backs, 2 Philadelphia quarterbacks, etc. So for anyone that's a multiple Jolly Joker holder or is doing multiple ways to earn packs, this is kind of a nice way to look at your portfolio of packs available to you and see how you want to diversify accordingly.
Very cool. Okay. We're at 45 minutes. You know what usually takes about 10 to 15 minutes?
Little underdog draft. You would know because you've done 400. Wow. Do some math there. Now you can do math on how long Justin spent doing underdog draft.
Nope. Don't do that. I'm not telling you how many minutes.
That's true. That's true.
All right.
Let's do it. Should I try and jump? I'll try and jump in the draft too, or should we just do one?
We'll do
Let's
together.
Just do one.
It's
do it together.
Better to talk through together. But if people in chat want to jump in, I'll give you a little head start. So I'm going to be jumping in a mitten 2. I believe this is usually like a 30-second delay or something. So I'll give you guys some time to get ready. And maybe you guys can join the chat. So I'm going to click on it in about 5 seconds.
Boom.
3, 2, 1. Mitten 2. Come join us. Let's do a little drafting.
All right. 4-2. All right. Hopefully this is our people. We'll find out quickly. That filled quick. So that makes me think that it was probably our people.
I'm hoping. If you're in here, let us know. Oh, I see some familiar names. We got Lecky. We got Ben had Ben. Andy Reid off of by LED and Subfrac.
Here we go.
Best of luck. One more shout out for those who are ETR subscribers. I've got playoff best ball ranks for Underdog. I've got a playoff best ball strategy article. You can check those out. Highly recommend. If you're not an ETR subscriber, they may even have some specials coming up for the playoffs, or just head on over to the Discord, ask me some questions. I'll be hanging out there. Happy to kind of give some tips. And I'm going to be doing these drafts the next couple days and then all next week. And we'll be talking strategy. I did a free podcast with Leone called Establish the Edge, which talks through all of the Underdog playoff best ball. That's actually where I'd probably start off by checking out Establish the Edge and just Google my name. Okay. So we are coming up. But yeah, let me, I guess I'll go to completed. There we go. 440 is the magic number right now.
Impressive. I imagine you'll easily get to 500 plus by the time it locks.
Yeah, Gauntlet. I'm trying to stay right at the fill rate. So it's at like 67%. I'm at 100. Okay, so
full 150.
Yeah. All right, Allen, Mahomes, McCaffrey, fairly chalky right off the bat. You can mix it up here. Diggs is my highest ranked one because he's likely not going to get the bye. But I'm going to go with the Jamar Chase in this one. Thought process here is there's been a decent amount of teams that have been getting the Josh Allen and the Stephon Diggs. Not a reason not to take Diggs, but this early, I'm not really guaranteeing that I'm going to get a great NFC partner with it, because if Lamb and Jefferson go, even AJ Brown, it's a little challenging. Actually, I wouldn't do the AJ Brown because I already lost both Hurts and Allen. So in this, I'm going with Jamar Chase. At the turn, I can then, there's a chance that the draft actually falls that you can grab Burrow, Higgins, and Mixon. But I'm really jumping into things. Let's take a step back. TJ, you want to give a high level on strategy and what people should be thinking about when they're doing these playoff best ball drafts for Underdog?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. So the main thing with Underdog in particular is that how it works in general. So you're doing a 6-person group draft here, and whoever scores the most points during the first weekend of the playoffs will advance from this group of 6. And then you'll get put. What is the second group? Is it another 6 or is it more?
It's more, but you got to keep winning your groups.
Right. So essentially,
it depends on the structure of the tournament. So the mitten is different than the gauntlet, but in general, you have to usually win your group in advance.
But in general, you get put into groups, and you have to win your group every week until you get to the Super Bowl. And then when you get to the Super Bowl, all of the teams that are remaining are competing in one larger field tournament. Do you know how many people are going to be in? And I guess it also depends. It's a large field tournament.
Yeah.
And so really the strategy comes down to you want to work backwards, even more so than the TOC game, work backwards from a specific Super Bowl matchup and be able to at least field a team of 5 for that Super Bowl game, and ideally even more. because each week you draft 10 players, and each week it takes your best lineup of 1 quarterback, 1 running back, 2 wide receivers / tight ends, 1 flex, which can be running back, wide receiver, or tight end. So you need to be able to fill a full 5-person team in the Super Bowl. If you're not doing that, then like you literally are drawing dead before you even start. So that's the biggest edge off the bat. And you'll see people that probably don't fully understand that and draft teams that really can't win. And this is why Justin's done 400 plus of these drafts, because of that edge that inherently exists. So as you can see here, Justin has queued up all the Dallas players and all the Cincinnati players. Why has he done that? Basically, he's saying, okay, I am now building this specific team for the assumption that Dallas and Cincinnati meet in the Super Bowl. And when those 2 teams meet, I'm going to have 8 or 10 or however many players playing in that game, and I'm going to have the maximum possible options to get to the top of that leaderboard in that game.
Can we pause so I can tilt a little real quick?
Oh my goodness. Wow. Chat is just really going after you. Just
grabs
wow.
Burrow and Dak. Oh, the tilt, because those are obviously both the QBs that I'm looking for to complete my stacks. He's putting a team together. Okay, so those are things we have to deal with. Now we need to pull a bit of an audible. If we look back at our team, I only have 1 Cowboy. I've got 2 Bengals. So we can either, most likely thinking, okay, actually, I'll see what happens here with LED. All right, I'm going to audible and go with the Chargers because no Charger has been drafted yet. So maybe I can go with Austin Eckler, Keenan Allen, Justin Herbert. And yes, unfortunately, I won't have these, Chase and Higgins in the Super Bowl. But maybe, just maybe, I'll still have enough firepower and Chase and Higgins can help me it can help me advance through each round. But now I'm going to get rid of all of these Bengals from my queue because I'm no longer playing for that scenario. And instead, I'm going to switch over and bring a bunch of Chargers in. And then we'll still need to figure out what we're going to do in the NFC.
And what we are seeing here is the prime reason why it is always minus EV to stream your drafts. And I think didn't you actually find that out in your Best Ball Mania results? Do you think that was coincidence, or like there's actually something there about like between the combination?
Now I'm seeing Sublime Fracking. What are you doing, Sublime Fracking? Oh gosh, are you just tilting me on purpose? Oh, my mindset didn't put Sublime Fracking and Subfrac together, but should have. I had a 23 to 24% advance rate in non-stream drafts and had a 4% advance rate in stream drafts.
Wow.
Combination of getting, sniped plus having to multitask. There's a lot going on, but it's okay. Okay. So we're going to grab Keenan. Subfrac already has his 2 QBs. So unless he's going full Snipe City, Herbert should fall to me. LED has the Hurts and Philly Cincy. Chargers don't really fall into him. And when you grab Hurts, you do need another QB, but you should usually wait as long as possible because you'll be able to get QBs that are going to put up decent amount of points just for the first week late in the draft. It's not worth using early draft capital to take one of these QBs because in a 1-game sample size, honestly, you'd probably rather have someone like Daniel Jones than Brock Purdy. Daniel Jones, I think he's like QB7 on the year right now. Extremely impressive year with what little offensive options he's really had to pass to.
Can really just get it done on the ground with rushing TDs and such. I feel like that's been a big advantage for him. We saw it last week, right? Didn't he have 2? Did he have 2 rushing touchdowns? I know that
2 rushing touchdowns last week. Threw for another 2 touchdowns. Yeah. Okay, so you see what we're putting together here. We still do need to kind of think about what we're doing on the NFC side of things. Dallas, Dalton Schultz and Michael Gallup go a little late. So those are kind of late complementary pieces I can snag. The other option is we've got guys like so Barkley just went. That's a good one. Some of the Giant stacks, but we also have guys like the Bucks, like the maybe Packers that you can snag as well and hope for kind of a Cinderella story from the NFC to get to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, the Bucs just gonna turn it on and make a deep run here after last week's performance. I mean, I feel like they haven't done anything all year, and then boof, Brady and Evans popped off for an absolute smash game last week.
Going into last week's games, the Bucs have had 2 passing plays of 30-plus yards. In that game last week, they had 3, and they were all to Mike Evans. We've talked about how they need to, Brady doesn't have time. They need those big plays. And with Tristan Wirfs, their offensive lineman who got hurt in the Cleveland game, with him coming back last week, I think that was a huge help for Brady. I don't know if it's going to be enough to turn it around. They're going against, Dallas first round, and Dallas has the #1 defensive line from forced pressures. And so I think they're going to do wonders to Tampa. I would take Dallas I think Dallas is going to be about -3 in that game. Obviously, it's not announced yet, but that's my guess. But hey, if the Bucs can pull that out and they actually got it clicking, never bet against Brady, right?
Seriously. And hey, once you get in the playoffs, anything can happen, no doubt.
Okay, so quick refresher. We got Herbert, we got Eckler, we got Keenan. So we got 3 Chargers. We got 1 at each position, and we just got Dallas from the NFC. We got those 2 Bengals guys to help us get there, but are not going to be helpful in the Super Bowl. We've got Mike Williams on the board right now as our next option. But what I'm going to do instead, no, I can't. What are these guys doing? LED, subfrac. All right, I'm going to go Godwin. Try to give us some more options from the NFC for that Super Bowl. Let's see. I saw Leonard Fournette already went. Mike Evans was actually already drafted too. I missed right before me by Andy Reid. I missed that. Part of the reason why I grabbed Godwin is I was thinking, hey, I'll be able to get Mike Evans later. And if I'm playing some defense where if I draft a player on the Bucs, then maybe people are less likely to draft a Buck themselves. But that was an oversight on my part that I did not see Evans went directly before.
Did Brady go? Has anyone picked Brady? Or are you just rolling Herbert here?
Yeah, I'll just be going a single Herbert here because we know he's playing in week 1. We know he has weekly upside in games that they're going to be winning. He's scoring more points. So I'm content there. Oh, and then LED takes Mike Williams in the comeback. Oof. Oh, this is getting painful. I don't want any of those guys. We are now getting a little ugly, so we're going Packers.
You guys are really just tilting Justin here. I'd love to see it.
I'm not looking at the chat at all. But we're gonna start throwing some Packers in the queue as well. This feels kind of like that. Can I get a reroll?
Underdog? It does. Yeah. When Underdog reroll. This does feel like a reroll would be nice here.
That's okay. Hey, you know how you reroll? You go enter a new one with $5 more.
Exactly.
Okay, throwing some up. We still have the Josh Palmer, the Gerald Everett, the late ones.
Hey, we're gonna be unique here. That's you can always tell yourself a story as to how the lineup can win. The Chargers go on a deep run. The Packers sneak into the playoffs, make it all the way to the Super Bowl. Aaron Jones runs for 150 yards and 3 touchdowns. Do you believe in miracles?
We're going to have a couple more Packers. Don't worry. And then, most likely, Packers won't make the Super Bowl, and we'll just burn this lineup.
Just burn it down.
It actually, it has enough firepower to get one of those ugly advances because Herbert, Eckler, even if Aaron Jones didn't make it, like those 2 can still be kind of top. And now we've got a ton of wide receivers, so we're grabbing 3 here. We're going to hope Christian Watson's healthy, and we're going to round out the draft with one of these remaining Packers or Chargers.
So would you ever would you ever take Aaron Rodgers next here? Because it gives you another Super Bowl matchup, because then you at least have an out of a Green Bay Cincinnati where the winning lineup could be Rodgers, Aaron Jones, and Watson, and then Chase and Higgins on the other side. Like, do you ever think about it that way? Or
Yeah, that's possible. With the
I mean,
I
it's
definitely
obviously
would
it's not a likely scenario, but it
Yeah.
is one of those, again,
No,
stories
it's
you could
not.
tell
It's
yourself.
not horrible. I like it. I definitely would not take another wide receiver here, just because I'm so stacked here. Like, what's the likelihood that even if it is the Super Bowl that we're calling for, that Lazard or Palmer or something comes into play? Herbert, Eckler, Keenan, Aaron Jones, Christian Watson. I guess they'd have to outscore. It's possible for the Super Bowl. I'd be more likely to grab AJ Dillon because
Just
we know
grab
that
Dillon.
AJ Dillon can have some strong success. But no, I like the thought process with the Aaron Rodgers one, because we would have Rodgers, Jones, Watson, Higgins, Chase. It's only a 5-person one, so you got to nail it perfectly. But again, how many people are actually going to have any Packers? Because this is the mitten 2 that is pretty close to actually filling. So it's not like, hey, you can wait a few days and draft once you know the Packers make it. So if the Packers somehow made it to the Super Bowl and you played against the Bengals, team's definitely live. Until LED takes Rodgers here. All right.
That would have been the absolute icing on the cake. Like, just takes Rodgers for absolutely no reason other than to straight tilt. There we have it. Re-roll.
Okay. That's
that was
fun.
fun.
That's fun.
Awesome
So,
stuff.
One more time for Underdog Fantasy. If you are new, what we were just drafting, that is how you can earn yourself 2 TOC playoff best ball packs.
Link in
Go
the
sign
bio.
up.
You can click the link in the bio too. We got a little Underdog link down below.
There you go. Link in the bio. Click on that or download the app and use promo code OTM. All you got to do is just make a deposit. I think it's like $10. And then you will get your TOC playoff best ball packs. And then go enter one of the mittens. Have some fun. Use some strategy. And head on over to the Discord and ask me any questions.
There we go. And this is going to be... Are you going to be at 2 tomorrow again, or you have a different time tomorrow?
No, tomorrow I got a dentist appointment too. Trying to bring on a guest for tomorrow. We'll see. It's probably going to be a morning one. They do like an 11 a.m. back to back with the ETR one after.
Got it. Yeah. So hey, while we're here, everyone, click that like button. Click the subscribe too. Justin's going to be doing a ton of these drafts in the next 2 weeks, so definitely make sure you're subscribed so you're getting all the different strategy tips. And like, things are gonna change, so you're gonna want to stay in tune to what's going on every single day. Like, literally, the strategies and the rankings can change day by day, so it's very important to be up to date on the latest happenings. Lots of money to be made here, honestly, and there's no better way to learn than just by watching these different drafts, by hearing the conversations. Justin's going to be having guests on with him that also have their own unique perspectives on it. So definitely check this out. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel, and a lot of content coming your way in the next week and a half as we head into playoff season.
And every show, we're going to give away a pack, and that is the time now.
Yep.
So last call, TOC exclamation point. If you have not yet, put in the chat. If you have, you're good. We have 50 people currently qualified for the giveaway. Final chance. Put that in. We'll give another minute in case there's any last stragglers. Obviously, PPE coming in at the end of the show and get in the raffle. Good timing. Well done, PPE. There's a couple more. Let's get those in. Okay.
Long Island Alameda. Yes, it can be overwhelming at first. 100%. That's why we're going to be continuing to do this. So, yeah. And feel free to, we know you're always in the Discord. Ask any questions. If you do a draft and want Justin to give you some feedback on the draft, like we can definitely do that in Discord. And yeah, it's a lot to wrap your brain around to start, but once you get started, it's fun.
Yeah. Okay. Are we ready?
Here we go.
I think it's pretty simple. All I'm going to do is I'm just going to hit draw, and it's going to pick a winner. And what was it? Some Eagles, some Cowboys, maybe a
It was a good one.
Kelsey. You can,
It was a good
you
pack.
can decide whether you want to stick with what we got, or you can make some edits yourself. But here we go.
Good luck.
Spin, 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 spin.
Oh,
Josh
Josh
Allen
Allen. Wow.
with the last second.
Look at that.
Look at that JJ. It knows. It gives the JJ boost.
Always in the chat. Always one of our big supporters. Shout out Josh Allen. Glad that you're the first winner of the pack. Much deserved.
What do we want to do? Open a ticket up in the Discord, or if you already have one open, tag Coop, and he'll help us facilitate this to get you that pack. Congratulations.
Awesome stuff.
Oh, and if you want other packs, go check out my Twitter. I'm giving away 5 packs just by a simple, fun little retweet. Tell me who you think is going to win the Super Bowl. We'll give those out over the next day or two as well. So head on over to my Twitter at Justin Herzig. Give that a nice little retweet, a follow if you're not. We'll have some fun.
Absolutely. And then tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern time in the Jolly Joker Discord, little town hall action. And we'll probably give away some more packs there too for people that attend. So make sure you're heading on over into the Discord, setting a reminder for tonight's event. We'll be talking through all things TOC. We'll also be touching on the Rumble situation with the uniqueness for this week. And we got some other fun announcements as always. Always fun new stuff coming up. We're going to have a way for Jolly Joker holders to refer some friends and earn a little bit here. So tune in tonight if you'd like to find out more about how to do all the things.
That's it. Well, TJ, thank you for joining me, being this special guest in this kickoff TOC Playoff Best Ball Show presented by Underdog Fantasy, our great friends over there. For everyone else, thank you for joining us in chat. This has been fun. I will be back each day, ripping some packs, drafting some drafts, and can't wait to see you all. See you all later tonight at the Town Hall. Cheers.